You are sitting in absolute silence, but someone's monologue plays continuously in your head. Who is this invisible narrator commenting on your every step, victory, and mistake? You are used to considering this inner voice your true self, the source of your unique personality. But what if this inner voice doesn't actually belong to you, and who is really running your mind? Welcome to the terrifying world of neurobiology and the splitting of human consciousness. We are used to believing that our mind is whole, indivisible, and completely under our control. But modern science proves the opposite. Several different entities live inside each of us. Let's start with a simple experiment you can try right now. Silently pronounce any word and listen to the sound of this inner voice. Whose accent is this? What is the intonation? Does it sound like your real voice when you speak out loud? Surprisingly, for most people, the inner monologue sounds abstract and foreign, as if someone is broadcasting someone else's thoughts straight into your skull. Where does this continuous stream of words that never sleeps come from? Neurobiologists have discovered an astonishing thing. The speech areas of the brain activate before you are consciously aware of the thought. The brain makes a decision or phrases a sentence a fraction of a second before you hear it. It turns out your consciousness is not the creator of thoughts, but merely their passive listener. You find out about your own thought the same way a movie theater spectator finds out about a plot twist. This sounds like the rant of a madman, but it is pure neurobiology. Remember the experiments of the legendary neurobiologist Roger Sperry with split brain patients. In these people, the corpus callosum, the bundle of nerves connecting the two hemispheres, was surgically severed. The left and right hemispheres turned out to be completely isolated from each other, like two different people in one body. And what did scientists discover? Two independent personalities started speaking in one body. The left hemisphere answered questions logically and built complex theories. The right hemisphere could silently control a hand to draw a picture or pick up an object, denying the actions of the left side. One patient told researchers he wanted to become an engineer, while his left hand at that moment tried to unbutton his shirt and declare a desire to become an artist. Imagine the horror of realizing that your hand is controlled by someone else living inside the same skull. But don't rush to calm down thinking it's different with an intact brain. In healthy people, the hemispheres constantly maintain a hidden dialogue that we perceive as reflection. Your brain consists of autonomous modules constantly arguing with each other for speaking rights. One module wants to eat cake, another screams about a diet, a third thinks about work. And the inner voice is merely a press secretary, voicing whichever side won at the moment. It steps up to the podium and says, "I have decided to do this." Though in reality, the decision was made by subconscious algorithms long before that. The illusion of the self is the most complex and convincing magic created by evolution. But who then is this spectator inside who listens to the monologue and marvels at their own thoughts? Try to stop your internal dialogue right now. Mentally shut up. How many seconds can you hold out in absolute mental silence? For most people, this internal trickster immediately resumes chatter. I'm trying not to think. There goes a thought again. Why is this so hard? You cannot switch off your own mind by sheer willpower. Can a true homeowner really be unable to close the door to their own room? This fact forces us to rethink the very concept of free will. What is freedom if your thoughts are born without your direct participation? Some scientists claim that free will is also a beautiful illusion. We perform an action on autopilot first and then invent a logical justification for it. I bought this item because I needed it, you tell yourself, even though your brain decided to buy it before you even walked into the store, reacting to the packaging color. and the inner voice immediately supplied a convenient, rational explanation. This process is called confabulation, when the brain invents memories and motives on the fly. It will never admit to itself that it acts chaotically or unconsciously. It desperately needs the illusion of absolute control and integrity. But what happens when this illusion begins to crack? Alien hand syndrome, depersonalization, split personality are extreme forms of desynchronization. When a person looks in the mirror and fails to recognize their own reflection. When the inner voice starts sounding louder, turning into intrusive commands or alien intonations. We are used to brushing off these topics, considering them mental disorders, but psychiatry only studies what manifests overtly. On a baseline level, a mild split exists within every single one of us. Think of the moments when you caught yourself having strange, frightening thoughts. Thoughts that felt so alien you thought, where on earth did that come from in my head? These were the voices of those very hidden subconscious modules breaking through. Your mind is not a monolithic temple, but a noisy multi-story anthill, where different entities with their own fears, desires, and logic live on every floor. And the most interesting thing is that society also shapes how your inner voice sounds. Anthropologists found that ancient people perceived their thoughts as the voices of gods or spirits. When the heroes of Homer's Iliad made decisions, they didn't think for themselves, they heard instructions from above. In their consciousness, the inner voice distinctly felt like external intervention. Only centuries later did we privatize this voice, calling it our self. We learned to tell ourselves, I think, instead of God's whispered to me. But has the nature of this phenomenon changed, or did we just change the sign on the door? What if modern psychology is only half right? What if a whole choir of voices exists beyond the boundaries of our awareness? Try listening to your internal monologue not as a master, but as an outside observer. Distance yourself from it by a fraction of a millimeter. You will see how thoughts simply come and go, like clouds in the sky. You are not the clouds. You are the endless sky through which they float. This simple exercise changes your entire perception of identity. Anxiety vanishes when you realize your frightening thoughts are merely automated processor noise. You don't have to believe everything your brain tells you at 3 in the morning. Most of these thoughts are products of fatigue, fears, and defense mechanisms. Realizing this grants incredible, almost mystical freedom. You stop being a slave to your internal dialogue. You become the one watching this endless mental TV series. But the questions remain open, and they stir the imagination of researchers. How deep can this division possibly go? What will happen if future technologies allow connecting your brain to a neural network? Will artificial intelligence become yet another voice in your choir, or will it completely dissolve your already fragile individuality? We stand on the threshold of major discoveries regarding the nature of the human self. And the more we learn, the stranger and more mysterious our inner world becomes. Don't be afraid to explore the corners of your own mind, even if it's dark there. Understanding how your consciousness works is the key to truly controlling yourself. We will continue plunging into the mysteries of the human psyche in upcoming videos. Stay critical of your own thoughts, and don't take the very first inner voice at its word, because behind the scenes of your consciousness, there is far more hidden than you are used to thinking. Soon we will open a new door into the darkest and most amazing corners of neurobiology. Are you ready to learn the whole truth about who is actually looking out of your eyes? Time moves forward, and every new question brings us closer to solving humanity's main mystery. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the continuation. See you on the other side of the mind.